So thank you. All right, so we'll jump straight into the question and answer section. So please drop your questions on the chat. We're yet to respond to your questions. Our scholars are here, our speakers are here to just help to provide as much support from their experiences and from their knowledge to us all. So please and please continue to drop your questions. So I'll go straight to some of the questions we have here on the chat already. Yeah, so we have a question from Agun. Agun is asking, I'm planning on going for my master's next year, September. Can I start applying for a scholarship now? Because you said something on having your conditional admission later before the deadline of the scholarship. So, David, do you want to answer that question for us, please?
Yeah, it depends on the specific scholarship, for example, you are aiming at, right? So let's say, for example, you want to apply for maybe Commonwealth Masters Scholarship. The thing is, if you apply for admission now for a university, for a master's program, you would end up getting it, you know, next year. Of course, that's the whole idea. Those who are applying for Commonwealth scholarships now, they are applying to get in next year, September, right? So if you want admission, if you want to get a scholarship next year, this is the year to start applying for your master's like the university admission, so that you could use that to get a scholarship or maybe even find a scholarship in that university. So yeah, you're in the right place and you want to get your document ready. But as we have been emphasizing on this bootcamp, you don't have any business starting a scholarship or a university application if you don't have your documents ready. That's why that's the most important thing. Get your international passport, get your certificate, get your transcript if you can. In fact, there's something called interim. I don't know how many universities allow that, but before I even got my official transcript, I got conditional offers with what I called interim transcript. Like my university published most of my results online, so I compiled that into a PDF, and I was using that to get admission even before I got my official transcript because those things sometimes take a while. So yeah, it's all about being strategic and starting early. If you are looking to get a scholarship next year, this is the best time to actually start. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, so next question is from Debbie. Again, I think this is about recommendation letter, but I think we'd love to hear um Mr. Chiebuka's response or thoughts about recommendation letter. So we direct this question to you, Mr. Chiebuka. All right, the question is from Debbie, and she's asking, Sir, you made mention of recommendation letter. What if you are not in any institution now? How do you tend to get recommendations from your lecturers? Mr. Chiebuka, do you want to give us your
Yeah,
perspective?
okay. Thank you very much. David, thank you so much. And thank you for the question. It's a bit vague. If she's not in any institution now, what does that mean? Did she not attend any institution prior to the application or what? It's a bit confusing. If she's
Okay.
speaking about, if she's emphasizing on the fact that maybe she has graduated or something, of course, most of the applications people make is usually after graduation. And once you've graduated, if you have established that relationship with your lecturers before graduating or your head of department, because sometimes you can just get head of departments are always willing to write, though that sounds more generic, sort of, because when you have those recommendation letters, as David said, those letters comes as to whom it may concern. So if she's not currently in any institution, I'm believing she implied being a graduate, she can always reach out to her lecturers and get her recommendation letter. So she should, yeah, she really needs to be careful. Else, if she gets generic recommendation letters, that will definitely affect her negatively.
Awesome. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for sharing your
no problem.
perspective on that. So please, scholars, if you want to get really good clarity from our scholars, make your questions as clear as possible. And so it's more directed to you, but thank you so much, Mr. Chiebuka, for that. The next question is from Manuela. Manuela is asking, can you get a Commonwealth scholarship with just one publication? Can you get a Commonwealth scholarship with just one publication?
Sorry, I can just quickly comment. I got mine with just one publication. You can even get without any publication. It's just when you've got these publications, your chances are higher, you know. You just want to keep doing things that will boost your chances, and that's basically the goal. I want to quickly comment briefly on the reference question earlier, right? It's very important. So when I was again, like Chiebuka accurately answered, you probably have graduated, and maybe that's why you're asking the question. And this is why you want to lean in back to the relationship you had with your previous supervisors. And sometimes the more personal if the person has had a personal relationship with you, let's say like your supervisor of your project, that's like the number one person you should even think of. If you ever did a project in school, who was your supervisor? That's the first person you should reach out to. At least they know you personally before you now talk about maybe head of department and other lecturers. I had quite a number of them, but I remember when I was asking them for like references because I was applying for a lot of scholarship and some of these things are demanding. And if you are not sending to whom it may concern, this is becoming a phrase in this bootcamp. If you're not sending to whom it may concern and you want it customized, right, you have to make sure that you have quite a number of references. Because one of my referees turned me down at some point. He was like, David, this application is a bit too much. Sorry, I can't continue. Can you ask somebody else? It's cold, but that is what you have. So you have to keep your options open and you have to lean back into those relationships you have previously had. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. I think I will just compile some of the questions together because they look a bit similar. So the next question is from Didi. Please, I am a graduate, but I didn't get any award. Do I still have an edge? And the next question is from Lawrence. Lawrence is asking, please, do you need your original certificate to apply for the CSC?
Okay. As David clearly stated earlier, you work with unofficial document. He called it interim. People call it unofficial. And for certificates, you can, of course, when you graduate, you have your certificate. All you have to do is to scan and have soft copies of all your documents. If the university needs to verify anything, they will come. The Commonwealth will communicate directly with the university and not with you. But it's essential to have all your unofficial certificates. Certificates are always official. Transcripts will always be unofficial. Whatever that comes directly from the university is what they consider official. Whatever you upload, it's not really official. So yeah, you can uh, you can always work with what you have. So he should have his certificate and apply.
Great.
And if the other question you mentioned was the one before the certificate was,
Yes, please, I'm a graduate, but I didn't get any award. Do I still have an edge?
of course, uh, there are so many people who got Commonwealth Scholarship without any specific award, so to say. You can always get it. Your story will reflect a lot of things. You mustn't necessarily get a specific award to secure Commonwealth. Commonwealth Scholarship considers a lot of things. So yes, you still stand a chance to get that for sure.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So please don't let any document that you may not have, for example, a publication or an award, hold you back. The key thing is, like David said at the beginning, scholarship make you better. Like the application itself helps you to discover yourself, helps you to learn about yourself, and it's really just going to help you become better in your next application. So please and please don't let it hold you back. All right, the next question is from Kinsley. What's my okay? I think we've answered this question about publication, so I'm going to skip to the next question by Charity. Talking about 2 years professional experience, does that mean I must have a professional experience before being eligible for Commonwealth or Chevron scholarship?
Just to quickly hint here, it's Chevening that specifically mentions that you need that level of experience. And I think they kind of made it a bit more strict this year that you need to have that. It's not for Commonwealth. Commonwealth does not specifically mention you need to have that level of experience. So it's fine. Again, this is how I mentioned earlier that you want to make sure sometimes you emphasize your strengths and you also you try to strengthen your essays in other areas when you know you are not strong in specific areas. Let's say, for example, as Chiebuka mentioned earlier, you don't have that award. There are other things you could show. If you can maybe get a publication fund, even if you don't have that, make sure your essays are tight, get people to review it, get quality reference. All those things can boost your chances in other ways, right? So yeah, you don't have to lean on specifically on one aspect that you feel like you're not strong in. And even with that experience, sometimes you could even start volunteering now. Go to a company of interest that you feel reflects what you want to study and just be a part of them and start, if you can, there are lots of volunteering opportunities now. You want to do that. And I just really want to quickly lean on this because I think it's also related to what we are asking right now. Somebody's like, is sorry, like he's about starting his BSc, but he doesn't have like his certificate. And I think we addressed it earlier, as we said, even if you don't have a certificate, if you've got something you can show to show that you have graduated, at least you can put it. Some people have got statement of results. I used that even if I got my certificate. Since you can get it in November, good for you. But yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. I think we're going to run with the speed of light because we have less than 10 minutes. This question is from Eferiwe. Says, thank you, sir. My question is about the nomination agencies for Commonwealth Scholarship. Please, can you emphasize more on this? Which agency is more easier, the FSB or NGOs, and how do we go about it?
Yeah,
I
that's
do want to
David.
go. Okay.
I got
Yes.
shared. So
Okay, yeah, that's true. So I wanted to say something very interesting right now. I was going to say this, but again, I don't. You might not have the religious inclination to understand. I wanted to say, be led by the Spirit. Well, I think the bottom line really is you never really know. Um, again, I wasn't sure how to get or meet the eligibility criteria of other NGOs who were nominating people. Of course, for instance, I've heard about Farway. They are specific about women who wants to do some certain programs as it were. But I don't know how, of course, I'm a man. That obviously doesn't apply to me, right? But everybody has got a national nomination agency, and that's your safest bet. You understand? You've got a national nomination agency. You can apply through them. You get that, and they've got on the website. I think CS even links you to those nomination agencies website to see the specific eligibility criteria that they mentioned. And I hinted you one. For example, Nigeria specifically requires that you have NYC. Does that mean, oh, I don't have NYC, should I not apply? You can just give it a chance. My own is, you don't get it this year. The process of applying has prepared, like I applied for Commonwealth Scholarship and I got it on my second attempt. But when I was done, in fact, I told myself by the time I was done applying the first time, I was not going to give myself the scholarship. If I were, I was not going to give myself a scholarship because I felt like I didn't do enough. So, but that process prepared me, even though some of my documents were not complete. I was even still in NYC, so I didn't even have NYC certificate then. You get, so give it a try. You never know, right? So yeah, I can't tell you which one increases your chances. Just be led, go with your instincts, and sometimes just go with your national nomination agency if you can't meet the criteria for other ones. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. This question is by Wisdom, and Wisdom is asking, what about HND holders? Can they still apply for the MSc scholarship? Is Commonwealth open for HND holders?
I think on the website it clearly stated it's clear that you're not eligible. Sometimes I would always preach, if you consider yourself not eligible, don't stress, don't even apply. But if you want to have that leap of faith, you can, but ensure that with your HND, you're coming with robust application. Like you must have fully immersed yourself in well aligned activities to support your application. That's the only thing that might even make them change next year. Maybe they might say, okay, HND with considerable experience. Your application might even lead to a transformation in CSCs. So it's all up to you. Normally, I wouldn't bother applying, but if you know that you have supported yourself with loads of solid experiences, why not just fire on?
Awesome, thank you. This question is by Annie. Annie is asking, are there interviews for those that have been shortlisted for for the Commonwealth scholarships?
Interestingly, for I don't know how it works with other countries, but interestingly in Nigeria, if you have applied for the scholarship, you are automatically shortlisted. In fact, this is also very important that you know it. For some reason, and I'm going to say this, right? So I think CSC or the criteria for Federal Scholarship Board requires that you send them an email with your documents and all of that. They ideally should write back to you to tell you when the nomination interview is going to be, but unfortunately, you might never really hear back from them. So you have to follow up on their website and pay and have close friends. If you know people who are applying for scholarship, be them. Thank God you are in Clazenix platform. When those information gets to the team, they can communicate it to you, right? So those things matters, but I think everybody who chooses Federal Scholarship Board gets invited for the interview. In fact, they do the interview by region. They could say those in the northern region of Nigeria, those in the south, this is your date, this is your time. And then when you come, you do the clearance, you show your documents, and then you are slotted and assigned to a room for interview. So basically, everybody that chose them gets interviewed. So that's the good part, but it's all about how you ace the questions. And the interview questions are mostly around sometimes current affairs, specific about the program you want to study, your research interests, those kind of stuff. So yeah, but you have to be on the lookout if you choose Federal Scholarship Board for when they are going to be doing the nomination interview. I think they usually do it sharp. I think sometime in November, or it's usually in November, but you never really know. So be on the lookout. That's my best advice.
Thank you very much. Next question is by Precious. Precious is asking for the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship, what courses are eligible? Is it the same eligible courses on the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship or any master's course in the UK? And how do we confirm the eligible courses specifically for the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship? And do all courses have to be from the same team?
Can I comment on this, Chiebuka?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I think the thing with Commonwealth Masters is you can choose any course in the UK. You can choose any university in the UK. You've got three options. Some people decide to go with one school, choose three different similar programs in that school. Some people go with three different schools, but similar courses in that school. You get the point. And for example, you can't be saying you want to do, maybe for instance, you're applying for MSc in genetics, and then you are choosing different CSC teams. You are going to choose climate change. I've forgotten the teams. You are choosing inclusion and poverty. It doesn't match. So science and technology for development, your team should be the same. I don't know why your team should change. If you are coming and you want to do a science related course, your team should be central. I think CSC doesn't allow you to choose more than one team actually. But in that team, you can have multiple programs that are similar. You understand? So it's all about having a proper research focus, but you can choose any school, any course, and that's it really. I don't know if Chibuka has additional comments to make.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. So Mundi is asking, please, for the Commonwealth Scholarship, do we need 2 years experience from after school, or can you use the ones you had maybe during school? Because Chevening scholarships need the experience after school.
Well, you see, these things, many applications, it depends on how you package your application, right? If you find that your engagement during your uni days is well aligned with your application, you can use that, but it needs to be really solid. That's the most important thing, and it needs to be well aligned. Somebody was also asking right here from the chat, volunteer work is good and it should be. Yes, volunteer work is good, and it has to be related to what you're applying. There are so many volunteer jobs. If Dave is working with cancer research volunteer, that's in line with what he's doing. I can't go now and I'm doing quantum volunteer. Meanwhile, I want to do something in mass communication. It's not aligned. So everything must be aligned. And yes, if the only experience the person has is during the university days, that's okay. I mean, just be open for rejection. Next year you try again. You just learn from that. Yes.
All right, thank you. We're going to answer just one more final question because we're almost out of time. This question is from Favor. Favor is asking, please, sir, if the area of my publication is not related to the course I want to apply for in the scholarship, do I still have an edge?
Don't put it. That's all. Don't include the publication. Why? You would actually put yourself in more trouble. Why did you publish in that field in the first place if it's not related? Don't include that. It's not necessary. You lose your points rather than gaining points.
Awesome. So I think we've answered that question. Chama just dropped. Chama was asking if my area of application is different from the course I want to apply for. Will it affect me? So to increase your chances, we really advise because there is a large pool of applicants, and the easiest way to get your application, ignored is by not being coherent in your application. So your essay should be coherent. They should all drive to a common idea that you're trying to sell to the viewers or the judge. So do your best as possible to give it a shot. Don't say because of that, oh, you're not going to apply again. Like the scholars have been reiterating from the start. Most of these scholarships actually help your next application to be better. You know, I for myself, for example, like the scholarship I got was one that I got after applying for a lot of other scholarships, and I just kept on refining, I just kept on getting better. And eventually it was the last few ones I applied for, the second to last one I applied for actually, that actually came out. So please and please don't shoot yourself in the leg by not applying. Just give it a shot and see how far it will take you. Okay, with that said, I think we're going to wrap up the webinar, and I will just give
Can
some.
I, can I just quickly say something? Just
Yes, please.
so please, just so you know, even though that I have secured a couple of scholarships, the amount of rejections I've gotten outweighs what I've secured. I have had more than 50 US admissions without funding. Just bear that in mind. Be prepared for rejection. It is not failure, but just a step closer to your yes.
And
Awesome.
just to comment also lastly, like my final words on that same rejection topic really is rejections just give you an opportunity to try again. And you really don't fail because you got rejected. You just have not succeeded yet. They are two different things. And that's what you should bear in mind. Somebody was asking on the chat, and I just want to quickly comment on this. What if you don't get any admission? Would you still get a scholarship? It's not possible. And this is why I was saying that you want to calculate the risk, right? Apply to schools with that are up and low in the ranking to increase your chances. Thank God, Commonwealth Masters gives you three opportunities. Apply wisdom, use that well. You don't have to be choosing Oxford University, Cambridge, and Imperial. In your three choices, when you know that those schools are very competitive, so those are the things you really want to do. But if you don't have admission, there is no way you're getting the scholarship. I wish you guys the best, really.
Thank you. Really, really want to say a very big thank you. So can we just drop on the chat and thank our scholars? The final words they shared was literally like what we needed to hear, because after all the ginger we've received, after all the knowledge we've received, when rejection or if rejection comes, it should not deter us from taking another step. So please see rejection as an opportunity to refine your application. And I think some people call it love letter. They don't call it rejections anymore to make it, feel a bit better. But again, the idea is the same. You're just a step closer to your yes. All you need is just one yes. You don't need like a million yeses. And before that one yes could come, it could take a number of, trying and pushing. So a very big thank you to our scholars. I really, really believe that a lot of us have gotten value. We found this section valuable.